Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility. Yes, new album review day. Lots of them, in fact. It is Wednesday. We do this every Wednesday here on the channel. Today, we're going to take a look at something I'm probably a few months behind in reviewing. But the truth of the matter is, I only just got this not long ago, right? So, better late than never, I always say. This happens to be the third album released by this guy, his third solo album. First, though, that he released after the breakup of the Beatles. Released November 27th, 1970, for the Apple label, produced by himself, as well as some help late in the sessions with Phil Spector. From Phil Spector, I should say. All Things Must Pass, the 50th anniversary release of this, which came out officially earlier this year. And yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of variations on this. You can get these, big loaded vinyl sets. They've got like these, multi-pack DVD sets. I mean, CD sets. I'm trying to get like a list of all the different variations here that you get. Yeah, I mean, the most extensive edition contains 70 tracks across 5 CDs, 8 LPs, which has outtakes, demos, jams, standard vinyl, standard CD, Uber Deluxe Edition box set, all sorts of uber duper, super duper versions of All Things Must Pass. I opted to just go with the 2-disc set, 2 CD set, which basically gives you all of the tracks from the original 3-album set released in 1970, all remixed in 2020. Okay, it's got this new mix. So let's before we get into talking about the album, let's take a look at the artwork. So here you've got it's kind of like interesting the way the album cover is presented here. It's kind of in this like black and green hue, so to speak. Right, there's the back. Okay, the track listing. Oh, it's kind of blurry there, but you get the picture. And then we open it up, and a listing of all of the musicians who appeared on the album, which I'll get into in a second. And then you open that up. Okay. And then we've got here, all right, 2 CDs are both in cardboard sleeves on the inside of there. And then we've got here this kind of little fold out poster, right? So of course there's Mr. George, the late Mr. Harrison there. And on the other side, some information about the 2020 mix, of course, with all sorts of commentary from Donnie Harrison and Paul Hicks. Of course, Paul Hicks, excuse me, is the guy who did the remixing. All right, 2020 remixed and produced in stereo by Paul Hicks, executive producer Donnie Harrison, and product producer David Zonshine. And yeah, all sorts of interesting information coming from both Donnie and Paul about a lot of the different tracks and what they unearthed, and doing these new mixes and what have you. So pretty cool stuff. I think it's an interesting read, and of course, appearing on the album, for those of you who don't know, I mean, this is a classic album. Drums and percussion: Ringo Starr, Jim Gordon, and Alan White. Okay. Bass guitar: Klaus Voormann and Carl Rattle. On keyboards: Gary Wright, Bobby Whitlock, Billy Preston, and Gary Brooker. We've got legendary names everywhere here. Pedal steel guitar: Pete Drake. Guitars: George Harrison, Eric Clapton, and Dave Mason. Tenor saxophone: Bobby Keys. Trumpet: Jim Price. Rhythm guitars and percussion: Badfinger. The whole band is here, right? What else? Mal Evans, T. Sympathy, and tambourine, and introducing the George O'Hara Smith Singers, orchestral arrangements by John Barham, recording engineers Ken Scott and Philip McDonald's, package design and photography Tom Wilkes and Barry Feinstein for Camouflage Productions, produced by George Harrison and Phil Spector for Apple Records. Yeah, I mean, it goes without saying that this is not only perhaps George Harrison's finest moment as a solo artist, but it's also considered by many to be perhaps the greatest solo album, or one of the greatest solo albums by all of the Beatles themselves. So there's the CD inserts with the track lists on either side, and the other basically looks pretty much the same, except you got the gnome is obviously different position there. So, for those who are maybe not that familiar with this album, again, originally a 3 LP set, right? You had the main album, double album, and then you had the Apple Jam stuff, which is basically what they are, Apple Jams, right? A lot of the musicians getting together in the studio and jamming and doing all sorts of fun stuff. But the main album has got some really cool songs. I mean, this is basically a rock album, but there's definitely some little bit of folky stuff. There's some, it's hard to describe the music of this album to me. It's not, at times it's kind of Beatlish, but not really. George was really big into spirituality stuff at the time, so there's definitely a spiritual feel to much of the lyrical content and the feel of the album. There's some real fun songs on here. There's more acoustic based stuff. There's just some good rock and roll on here as well. The first CD, which contains the first couple of LPs on here, it's I'd Have You Anytime, My Sweet Lord. That was a pretty big single. Great slide guitar on that. Wah Wah is definitely fun. Okay, Isn't It a Pity, version 1. What Is Life? Another big, huge hit. I absolutely love What Is Life. It's my favorite George Harrison song. It's so much fun. That's like one of those songs. I don't think it's long enough. I listen to it. I want to hear it again and again and again. I just keep playing the replay. Love it. If Not For You, Behind That Locked Door. Great song. Let It Down, Run of the Mill. All right, over on CD 2, you've got Beware of Darkness. Great song. All right, I always love the Spock's Beard version of the song, but this is the original. Original is Kills. Apple Scruff's Ballad of Sir Frankie. Crisp, Let It Roll, sorry. Waiting on You All, another really strong song. The title track, All Things Must Pass, absolutely beautiful. I Dig Love. Art of Dying is great. Got some great Clapton guitar work on that. Isn't It a Pity, version 2. Hear Me, Lord. And then you've got, the Apple Jam stuff. Out of the Blue, It's Johnny's Birthday, Plug Me In. I Remember Jeep, and Thanks for the Pepperoni. Out of the Blue and Plug Me In are really cool. There's a lot of cool jams, good guitar work, and all sorts of stuff. People just having fun playing together, which is pretty neat. And I will say, the mix sounds pretty spectacular. I have also the last reissue that came out, geez, I don't even remember, sometime in the mid 2000s or something like that, came in the kind of brown box, kind of ugly little packaging. It had like no stuff on the side, so when you throw it on the shelf, you don't know what the hell it is unless you go and actually pull it out. But this is a nice, neat little 2-disc package. It has all that stuff. I don't need all the extraneous alternate takes and just there's all these other jams that are available and just all the stuff that was kind of left off the album, right? I've heard it all. I have it on the other version. I'm not really that interested in that. I just like the regular 3 LP set, the original album the way it is, and it sounds spectacular on here. Really sounds good. They did a really nice job with this remix, and it all just sounds, this is always a pretty good sounding album anyway, but it just, man, everything is so clear, and you hear all the instruments, all the little nuances are there to discover. Really, really good album. For many, many years, I always thought, man, everybody talks about this as being this like absolute masterpiece. And yeah, I like a lot of it, but I was never like always thinking I'm missing something. It's like, yeah, I like it, but I think I'm starting to finally understand what everybody's been talking about all these years. Like I said, I always liked a lot of this album, but as a whole, I always thought, wow, it's really long, and there's some stuff I'm really not that into. But the more you listen to it, it's just got this dreamy quality to it, and it's just a real feel-good album. I think that's what it is. It's a really good feel-good album, and it's got all these legendary musicians just, adding all their little parts and little nuances. And it just, as a whole, it really, really works. So yeah, All Things Must Pass, 50th Anniversary Edition. This is the 2-disc set, which contains the full 3 albums on here, remixed in 2020, ready for you to buy in 2021. If you haven't already, like I said, I waited real late, obviously, to get this. I got this only not long ago, and most people have been talking about this and loving this all year long, so finally I decided to pull the trigger. So if you've been waiting like me, I would recommend you go out and do it. It's worth it. It's worth it. Get one of the versions. There's all sorts of versions out there. Get whichever one fits you the best, and enjoy All Things Must Pass once again. Thanks for watching. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Coming up, more new albums. So be on the lookout throughout the day. We've got a busy schedule with new releases, trying to finish up the year. We've got all sorts of stuff that I'm trying to get to between now and the end of the year. If I don't get to it today, it'll be next week. Caligulot got very cool prog album. We've got, what else we got here? The Progressive Souls Collective, Carmine Appice and Fernando Perdomo. We got a couple live Gong albums. We got the new Cynic. We got new Caravan. We've got new Boleto. We've got new Ross Jennings, the singer from Haken. We've got what else? I know there's more. That's all I can see right now. Because the stack is big. Stack is big, people. So thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alerted of every new album review we do, every interview, every show we have on the channel. You don't want to miss anything, and click on that notification bell. That's very, very important. We've also got the link below to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, the link to our merch page where you can get all sorts of cool Sea of Tranquility stuff, and of course seaoftranquility.org, our webzine, celebrating 20 years this year. Just think in a couple weeks I won't have to say that anymore, because we'll be on year 21, and that's not quite as sexy as 20, right? So anyway, thanks for watching. I am Pete Pardo. We'll see you real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.